Hello everyone, my name is Stephanie Spicer. I'm not a doctor or a scientist, just a Limey sharing what I've learned with other Limeys. This isn't medical advice, but I hope it helps. Do you remember the second Thor movie, The Dark World? I remember loving that movie so much when it came out. I loved that when Jane became infected with the ether, Thor was willing to cross worlds to help her find healing. And she did. I remember that moment was so dramatic to me. I remember thinking, I wish I had someone who cared enough about me to do that. But I didn't. No prince ever came along to save me. I was a princess who had to save herself. That doesn't mean nobody ever helped me. Of course I've had help along the way, but most of us don't have anyone to rescue us. Many of us are very much alone in this fight. Even if you do have the luxury of being under the care of an excellent LLMD, have a great support network and the resources to pay your bills, you are still the number one person responsible for your health. It may seem unfair for chronically ill people to have to fight their own battles, but you can't call yourself a warrior if you're just waiting around for someone to save you. You have to fight. We can spend all our time being angry and bitter at doctors, insurance companies, the government, and so on. And I get it, we don't have the support we need. Information is faulty and outdated, skepticism and dismissal hurts and hinders getting well, and Lyme patients are often left in financial ruin. But my point is, are we going to spend all our time ruminating and fuming about this? Or are we going to say, look, this sucks, but I'm going to get better anyway? The cavalry isn't coming. When the terrorists attack, are you going to huddle in helpless terror waiting for Bruce Willis to save the day? Or are you going to be Bruce Willis? What I'm trying to say with all of this is that the buck stops here. I am responsible for me getting better. Not doctors, not insurance companies, not the government, not society, me. When I was in film school, I came to realize that there were two extremes on the spectrum of filmmakers. At the one end, you have people who go to endless writers' seminars, read endless books, and are constantly obsessing over and analyzing and discussing all the films they plan to make, but they never actually get started. At the other end, you have those who are extremely prolific and put out a lot of content, but it's very low quality and basically stuff that nobody wants to watch, and they never improve their technique. It's the same with people who have Lyme disease. Some are obsessive about learning all the ins and outs about how the disease works and what's new in the world of research, but they never actually get started with treatment. While it's great to learn all we can, if we don't actually put it into use, it's not going to do us any good. We'll still be sick and getting sicker. On the other end of the spectrum, you have those who are constantly trying out every new treatment and supplement they can get their hands on. But they have no plan and no strategy, so they just kind of hop along from one hope to the next. But they never really experience real, steady improvement. We need to have a balance between these two extremes if we really want to get better. We should have a sound basis of understanding about the disease and how it works, what options are available and how well they work. From there, we should develop a strategic, doable, and affordable plan of action. Get started and consistently follow through, making sure to monitor what works and what doesn't, and adjusting our path as necessary. For some people, researching and learning as much as possible about the infections is comforting. And it's great to know as much as possible so that we can fight effectively. But research on its own does not get the job done. Sooner or later, we have to step away from the internet vortex, arm ourselves with real and effective treatments, and get started fighting. Of course, it would be great if we had double-blind, placebo-controlled, randomized, peer-reviewed studies for every aspect of this disease, and a neatly packaged, affordable treatment plan approved by all the appropriate authorities, and a doctor to guide us each step of the way. But we don't. Those things take time, as they should if they're done properly, and endless time is something that we don't have. Waiting for a cure, we might be waiting forever. And even if a cure is found, that will take years. Years in which Lyme will not stop advancing in our bodies and making us sicker and sicker. That means that sometimes we may need to step out and take a calculated risk. It may mean trying alternative treatments. It may mean doing our own research and tapping into the hive mind. It may mean refusing to use endless research as an excuse to never start treatment. It may mean being willing to move forward in small baby steps rather than waiting for one magic silver bullet. I know what it's like to be very ill. I know the wrenching loneliness, the rescue fantasies, the financial terror, but if we don't stand up and fight, we won't get better. Years ago in my hometown, I participated in a Lyme disease support group for a while. At one meeting, the organizer asked us all to share why we were fighting or what we were fighting for. As one by one the members shared around the circle, I realized that everyone was saying the same thing. They were doing it for their children or their grandchildren or their family. When my turn came, I told the truth. I'm fighting just to live, just to have a life. and I got the feeling that it fell as kind of lame or ignoble on the silence of the room. But it isn't. You're worth it. Your life is worth living and worth fighting for. No one else in the world can fill the unique part that you have to play here. And who knows what good times are to come as you move out of sickness and back into life. Who knows what difference you might make, whose life you might save, or what new life might come into the world because of you. Don't indulge in rescue fantasies. Follow the infections. Pick up the best weapons you can find, and then fight with all you've got. Fight until it's over.